welcome to a new episode of Cooking with Tiffany. I am your host, Tiffany DuBois-Morales. So, happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. As of the release of this particular episode, it will be Monday, and everybody's going to be in the mood to be outdoors, grilling, and doing a whole bunch of stuff. Well, when you live in an apartment complex, you may not necessarily have the luxury of being outdoors on the grill. So this is going to be a fairly simple marinated pork chop, cast iron cook for everybody, and I'm actually going to do just a very simple cucumber and tomato salad with lots of fresh herbs and other spices and stuff. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. So the first thing that we're going to do for our main course is, of course, allow the pork to finish marinating, which, as always, please do not forget to head to your local butcher shop. In our case, that is Tony's Meats and Market in Centennial, Colorado. They have an excellent selection of meat, poultry, and more importantly, a good amount of pork products that I have been enjoying playing with these last few months. So we're going to first go ahead and allow the fat that is on these beautiful chops to render. Before we cook them and then rest them, which for anyone out here in Colorado, I rest my meat, all the meats. So get used to me harping on that a bit. For everybody else along the East Coast, West Coast, and ironically enough, based out of Germany, you already know the rules. In our little casserole dish, there is remnants of our dried spices, as well as a little poultry medley seasoning. I'm going to use that when it's time to cook the garlic, as well as the onions, so don't worry. Not losing out on stuff, but for right now, we are going to go ahead, season our pork and cast iron. And to add in just a little extra Leah Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. Before reducing heat to medium, covering with our lid and setting a timer for 2 minutes before we go ahead and flip everything. You guys will find that I like to take my time cooking pork. So there is that. Which, speaking of spices, we still currently have the head nut inside of Reading Terminal Market as our main spice purveyor, although we have found somebody a lot more local out here in Lone Tree, Colorado. I'll tell you a little more about them on another episode of Cooking with Tiffany. But I'm keeping this very simple: black peppercorn and red pepper flake for the dry rub. There's poultry medley seasoning, which in this case is a little bit of sage and thyme. And we have our Leah Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. That covers pretty much everything dealing with the pork. Garlic, as always, is from Target, and our produce, so tomatoes, cucumber, onions, and herbs you can find at your local Safeway market. But we will be back once it's time to make the salad. All right, everybody, we are back. Now, we are on to the second part of our dish, which is our cucumber and tomato salad, which in this case, we're going to do a very simple balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and herb medley-based dressing to pair with all of these delicious ingredients. So, a little tutorial. Cucumbers are great, and because we are Greek, we peel just one side of all four corners, and it's very simple to do a salad. You know, you control how thick or thin you want your cucumber slices. I tend to like mine a little more medium to large thickness. I don't like it when they're like super thin, especially when you are making a Greek salad. We expect our cucumbers to actually be the thing that fills you up, in addition to, you know, your tomatoes, because in traditional Greek salads, there are no pieces of lettuce. I don't care what anyone says. You see lettuce in a quote-unquote Greek salad, it's not traditional and it's not Greek. It's just, you know, the Americanized version. Tomatoes, firm is always good, although these are getting a little soft, so take your time with your knife and just, you know, throw them in. The juices from said tomatoes will help the dressing bind to your various ingredients, so don't worry, they are good. Now, if anyone can recommend a little Greek shop or Mediterranean shop to get bulk items like good Greek feta or Kalamata olives, or like Greek olive medley or anything like that, please do, you know, leave a comment on YouTube, on Facebook, LinkedIn, Substack, like Instagram, like wherever you see any of my various episodes. But we're almost done. Next, your herb medley, which in this case is comprised of dill, parsley, and mint that I picked off of the stem. You do want to keep these bottom parts because that's really where you get the most flavor from your respective herb, in addition to like the you know, the garnish and everything else. But we're gonna keep this a very nice rough chop. Mix this way. And the next part of the salad will actually be your dry rub. So we're once again bringing back our trusty black peppercorn, which the higher you see somebody raising their arms, the more coverage you actually get of the spice in whatever bowl or space in everything else. As far as measuring either of these, I eyeball it, you can as well. And once again, note how high my arm is. Now, you might think, why is she using this particular olive oil? There are generally multiple types of olive oils. This one is not meant to be put over proteins that then get cooked, because this is finishing olive oil. This is the good stuff. You know, and then the last thing that you do is just mix everything to combine. You don't need a lot of seasoning or spices or anything to dress your salad, so this is perfect. But up next will be our finished looks. Welcome back, everybody. As you can very much see, we are not in the dining room. We are out on our balcony. As I mentioned before, if you aren't able to be out and about today, this holiday, you know, make use of any outdoor space that you have. Oh, and finally, check it out. We have our perfectly cooked thick cut pork chops, which you can find at Tony's Meat Market, caramelized onions and garlic to pair, and a Worcestershire pan sauce, and my very light and healthy cucumber and tomato salad with fresh herbs. And yeah, balsamic vinegar and olive oil dressing. As always, please do not forget to head over to Safeway Markets, Target, and if you're out in Philadelphia, my buds at Reading Terminal Markets, the Head Nut, for your spices. Hope you will enjoy today's holiday, and I will see you all for new episodes of Cooking with Tiffany soon. I am your host for Cooking with Tiffany, Tiffany DuBois-Morales. Bye.